My stepfather stole my inheritance, so I took everything from him. I never thought I'd be the kind of person to say this, but I ruined my stepfather's life, and I don't regret a single thing. When I was 9, my dad died in a car accident. Just like that, gone. My mom was devastated, but it didn't take her long to remarry. Within a year, she had met Greg, a charming, well-dressed man who treated her like a queen, or so I thought. Greg moved in quickly and began managing the house, the bills, and eventually, my dad's estate. I was too young to understand what was happening, but over time, things started to feel off. My mom seemed more distant, and Greg became more controlling. He monitored what she spent, commented on her clothes, and even limited her time with friends. But to the outside world, he was Mr. Perfect. By the time I turned 15, my dad's pictures had disappeared from the house. His clothes, his tools, even his vintage record collection, all gone. Greg said it was too painful for my mom, but my mom never said that. In fact, she barely spoke at all. She had started taking anxiety meds and sleeping most of the day. That's when I started snooping. One night, I snuck into Greg's office and found a file labeled with my dad's name. Inside were documents, my dad's will, bank statements, and a letter from a lawyer. My dad had left everything to me. Not my mom, not Greg, me. I was supposed to inherit his life insurance payout, his savings, and his properties. But I never saw a cent. Greg had somehow convinced my mom to let him take control, and I was left in the dark. The accounts had been drained, the property titles shifted. It was like I never existed in the will. I wanted to confront him, but I was just a teenager, so I did the only thing I could. I documented everything. I took photos, made copies, and hid them in a USB drive in a box of old stuffed animals. I waited. Over the years, I played the long game. I got close to Greg, pretended to forgive and forget. I played the dutiful stepdaughter, even when it made my skin crawl. Meanwhile, I kept tabs. I tracked financial accounts, built timelines, and collected receipts. My college essays were written with my teeth clenched. Every A I got was fueled by quiet fury. There were moments I wanted to give up. I remember one night, during my sophomore year of college, I was working 2 jobs just to stay afloat. I called my mom, hoping for support. She put me on speaker with Greg, and they told me I was being dramatic, that I should take out loans like normal people, that I was just jealous. I hung up in tears. Fast forward to when I was 21. I had moved out, gotten a part-time job, and was finishing college. My mom was a shell of who she used to be. Greg had isolated her, and she barely left the house. I visited only on holidays, and even then, he watched me like a hawk. I wasn't allowed to stay the night anymore. He said I made the house tense. One day, I got a call from a lawyer, my dad's old friend. He said he had been trying to reach me for years. Turns out Greg had told everyone I moved abroad. The lawyer was furious. He said there had been an ongoing probate case, and that I had missed court dates I never knew about. My signature had been forged on multiple forms. My identity was essentially hijacked. That was my final straw. I used the USB. I brought the documents to the lawyer, showed him everything I had gathered over the years. Forged signatures, missing funds, fake transfers. It was enough to open a full investigation. What followed was chaos. My mom finally broke down and admitted she had been coerced. Greg was arrested for fraud, embezzlement, and obstruction. The house wasn't even in her name. Greg had tried to transfer it to himself. But the courts froze his accounts, seized the house, and the inheritance was restored. But things got messier. Greg's business partners came out of the woodwork. One of them threatened to sue my mom, thinking she was complicit. Reporters started showing up. My college roommate even found a thread about it on Reddit. It went viral. My inbox filled with people telling me they had family just like mine. During the investigation, we uncovered even more disturbing things. Greg had taken out loans against my dad's property, signed in my mom's name, without her consent. He had drained my college fund and laundered money through shell companies. One of the properties he sold had my childhood swing set, still in the yard. Another was turned into an Airbnb. It was emotionally devastating. I broke down one night and called the lawyer crying. I told him I didn't care about the money. I just wanted peace. He told me the best way to get peace was to take everything Greg had ever touched. So I did. I pressed charges. I testified. I stood in court and watched Greg's face twist with rage as I told the judge how he'd stolen my childhood. I shared stories, timelines, bank records. I even played audio I had secretly recorded, conversations where he admitted to cleaning up loose ends. Greg's life fell apart. His business collapsed. His reputation was destroyed. And he's currently serving 12 years. But that wasn't the end. Months after his sentencing, I got a letter from him in prison. It was handwritten and reeked of desperation. He blamed me for everything. Said I had manipulated my mother, ruined his life, and betrayed him. I tore it up. Every piece. Then I visited my mom and helped her redecorate the house. We painted over every trace of Greg. She cried when I hung a picture of my dad in the hallway. We put his old records back on the shelf. She made us dinner that night, something she hadn't done in years. Healing hasn't been quick. There are days when I wake up in a cold sweat thinking about court, about Greg's face, about the way he used to smile when he lied. But I also wake up in my own place now, a small but beautiful apartment I bought with the recovered inheritance. My mom is getting help. She apologized to me. She admitted she was scared and naive, and I believe she's trying. We go to therapy. Some days are worse than others, but she's making an effort. That matters. I started a scholarship in my dad's name. It's for kids who've lost a parent and want to study law because I never want someone to go through what I did without knowing their rights. I also started a blog, just to tell my story. I didn't think anyone would care, but within a month I had thousands of readers. People messaged me about their own family betrayals. Some said my posts helped them finally get the courage to confront the liars in their lives. One girl wrote to me saying she played my story for her mom, and they both cried. That made me cry too. Some people say revenge is petty. I say it's justice. Because when someone tries to erase your father from your life, you don't just sit back. You burn them to the ground, and you rebuild from the ashes. And sometimes what you rebuild is stronger than anything they ever had.